Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So, yesterday I tried painting watercolor on a canvas panel for the first time using a minimal palette, Prussian blue, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, a little bit of a crimson. It came out really good, actually. This is the other palette that I use for different watercolor paintings. I have a couple of them around. It's kind of nice to have a couple of those around. Anyways, uh, so I decided to paint again, to try it again on this 5 by 7 inch, uh, canvas panel. And it didn't come out as good as it did yesterday when I tried it, but you know, I just thought I'd share this. So basically, I'm using here is the Prussian blue, and I'm using it's a crimson red light. I'm also using burnt sienna and yellow ochre, minimal colors, and very light pigment. In other words, it's more watered down than anything. Sometimes it is straight from the wells where I placed my paints. I'm using just a round brush here. Now, what I've learned about this, it was an experiment. I was just sitting there and I was, painting watercolors. And, I use these panels so I can paint my oils on. I do my oil studies on these and some acrylics. Okay. And I was like, man, I'd like to play it. I'd like to paint on that. So I did. And it came out really, to me, it came out really nice. So today I figured I'd try it again and record it. And I'll just kind of walk you through. I mean, it for me, it's new, interesting, different. And you could see the yellow ochre, the burnt sienna, and you could see the different mixtures of the colors, you know, right there on the palette, how they mix. And yesterday when I did my first painting on trying this, I wasn't expecting anything. It was just an experiment. I mean, I was just playing around. However, earlier this morning, I looked at the painting, and the painting was still there. It stuck to the canvas panel, and I was like, wow. One thing I did notice when I tried this last night was it is so easy to lift the paint off. I mean, literally, right to the white of the canvas panel with just a napkin, piece of a napkin. You could sculpt it and everything else. I know it's not watercolor paper and it's not even mixed media paper. It's a canvas panel. So I also noticed that unlike your other, like your papers and such for watercolor, I also noticed that it's really touchy when it comes to moving the paint around, your brush strokes. Everything is real sensitive, very sensitive. And doing this wet on wet, I didn't wet the canvas panel, but the paint's wet. It's really easy to lift paint and to blend paint, almost like oils. And I love oils. However, this is water control. So the water doesn't care where it's going. It's just going to go, right? When I started painting this last night, not this painting, but when I did experiment last night, one thing I did notice about this was that if you have a napkin in hand and such, you can manipulate these colors very easily. Like for example, okay, these watercolors, they dry fairly quickly. Especially, I got a ceiling fan going on. I'm just messing around in my living room, in my front room, right? And another thing is, okay, this is not a tutorial on how to paint on canvas panel, because this is only the second painting I've ever tried. However, the one I tried yesterday came out really good. As far as the underpainting goes, I guess, and I haven't tried it yet, but I guess if you let it dry, it'll probably prime, pretty much be a primer for your panels. But I encourage you to try this. If you got these little canvas panels hanging around and you've never tried it, you might want to give it a try. You might like it. The painting I did from last night was very quick, and it dried fairly quick too. And it's sitting on my coffee table. It looks awesome. And I was just fooling around. So I went ahead and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this again. And, of course, I videoed it. It didn't come out like the one I did last night. However, it's just to give you an idea, just to give you an idea. As far as the values go in here, I would say take your time. And or unless you're doing like monotone and all that, one color, etc., 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 take your time. But while the watercolor is wet, they lift so easily with the napkin or with this little bitty round brush that I'm using here, small round brush. Okay. And you could see the very minimal amount of paint I'm putting on this. It's so minimal, it's very diluted. But yet, it's satisfying to get a painting in on something different other than paper for watercolors. Be really, look at this. I mean, this is like magic eraser here, right? I mean, it literally is just very different. You can lift paint and everything on watercolor paper, cotton paper, your wood pulp paper, your mixed media paper. However, in my experiences, I've never experienced lifting it up like that much at one time, that quick, and quite frankly, to the very color of the watercolor of this panel. I mean, when you lift it, it goes right to the original white of this canvas panel. So with the clouds here, with a little bit of lifting and stuff, just to make it interesting and that, just kind of putting a little bit of the darker blue, Prussian blue I got in there, and more toward the bottom of the clouds and stuff. But I'm just having a great time doing this. This is not about. I'm sure this is nothing new. People do this, I'm sure, but it's something to consider. If you're just sitting around the house and you want to change up from your watercolor paper, or even sketch pad, try on the canvas because it's very interesting. This is only the second painting I ever tried, and I was, of course, I'm not happy with this one, like I was the one I did last night. However, it's just fun to do these things. I mean, the whole idea is to enjoy yourself, to be fun, be creative, to experience it. It's the process, right? It's the process. And so I just wanted to share this with you, and in case you've never tried this before, and you might have a good time doing this. And like I said, the painting I did last night, which was off the fly, and I wasn't even thinking about it until it, I was curious. But it's something exciting to me. The canvas panels are not expensive at all. So you're not, I mean, depending on who you are, but they're really not expensive, And again, the ceiling fan does help the drying time. This is wet on wet. But it really didn't take much. It didn't take long, really, to for this to dry and for the painting I did last night to dry. If you look on my community tab here on YouTube, you'll see the photo of the watercolor I did last night. I have it on there. Just sometimes I have a heavy hand, and with these, you can actually have a very heavy hand and just dab it out with your brush or a napkin. But I've been working on using a lighter hand with my approach, more of a diluted watercolors. It saves me paint, and it allows me for more things to adventure into. So yeah, the sky is looking a little muddy now. I accidentally got a little bit of green in there. That was the yellow ochre mixed with some of the Prussian blue. I took too long on this painting. I guess because I was trying to make a point. I knew I was recording. I was trying to make a point. But what I did last night didn't even take 15 minutes. It was only like 5 minutes. I hope that you have a great, wonderful day, evening, morning, and night. And please like and subscribe. And thank you for coming back. And I appreciate every one of you. And have a great day. Sincerely yours, John. So the sky is looking kind of stormy, and everything's kind of looking this way and that way, and it makes it fun. Interesting.